Hi, this is Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, the premier executive resume writing company, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about 2 ways executive recruiters use LinkedIn to find talent. LinkedIn is used by, the stats can vary based on who you talk to, but anywhere from 89% to 98% of recruiters, whether they're corporate or search firm recruiters, use LinkedIn to find talent. LinkedIn Recruiter, the product that LinkedIn sells to the recruiting community, is definitely one of their biggest money makers. And it is for good reason, because LinkedIn makes it really easy to find talent. Now, I know that some recruiters may laugh at me saying that statement, but it's definitely, despite all its drawbacks and challenges some days in using LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is one of the greatest things ever. From when I was a recruiter to now as an executive job search consultant. I think it's awesome. But there's 2 main ways, although there's a myriad of other ways, but there's 2 main ways that that recruiters use LinkedIn to find talent, and I want to cover that here today. So the first is they find you by using keyword searches. And the best way to be found by a recruiter doing a keyword search is to optimize your profile for the keywords for the jobs that you want. Sounds easy, sounds easier said than it is done, like most things in life, but if you properly keyword optimize, your headline, your about section, each of your jobs, the employment sections in your jobs, as well as your skills, those are really the 4 areas of all the areas you can keyword optimize. Those are the 4 areas that have the most weight when weighting keywords in searches. So this is what they do. They do Boolean searches. They do searches outside of LinkedIn on search engines. They use LinkedIn either in LinkedIn or outside of LinkedIn, finding people, extracting profiles outside of LinkedIn and doing searches of them on Excel. There's just so many different ways to search for people, but it is all keyword optimized. So make sure your profile is optimized. And the second way that people use LinkedIn to find talent is through their connections. They look for referrals, whether it's people they know, people they don't totally know, and they might be second or third degree connections, but being in the connection webs of the people making decisions, of the people making the hires, of the people doing the sourcing and the recruiting, those are all sometimes very different people. They're not often the same person. Being in those connection webs matters. I know even for me, I've had people hire me because they say, I've seen you're connected with my colleague at X, or I've seen you've connected with my colleague at my prior employer. I've seen that you're a colleague in the group that we're in together. So that being in the connection webs of people matters. It's not quite the weight of an actual referral, which that could lead to that, but you need to be able to show that you are in, connection webs for some visual validation, term I love to use in so many different ways. You want to show some visual validation that you are connected to people that they know. And, again, people that they know kind of function. There's definitely debates about that, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Obviously the DEI initiatives are important. You want to make sure a recruiter always wants to make sure they're looking for people who they don't always know and they aren't always connected with. But the reality is people look for people they're connected with. So don't ignore it, right? That's all. Just don't ignore it. Put yourself in other populations, in other places where you can be found organically without being known. But don't ignore the fact that people still find people that they know. So being connected, getting your connections over 500, auditing your connection list, see who you're connected with. Have you talked to these people recently? It's really important to make sure that the quality of your LinkedIn connection network is always sound and current, and not just the list of connections, right? This is not a collection. But how many of those people, when you look at the list of your connections, have you talked to recently? In the last year at the minimum, right? So this is a big room of people. That's how I view LinkedIn connections. How many of them have you talked to, right? So that's the key. I know I've repeated it a couple times because it's important. So the 2 ways that recruiters use LinkedIn is to, through keywords and through keyword searches and through referrals and through the connection web. So it's really important. And if you want to learn more about how recruiters find talent, how they use LinkedIn to find talent, other ways that they use to find talent, and then what they view as talent, what are the skills that they're looking for, join me my next executive career chat. I host recruiters and hiring experts and those tangentially related to the executive career as monthly guests in my executive career chat. If you go to executivecareerchat.com, you can register for the next one that is happening next week. It's free and we don't pitch anything. And it literally is just a discussion with me, an expert, on what's happening in hiring and how the executive candidate can position themselves to be chosen and selected and hired. So that's the goal. So join me at executivecareerchat.com. Go and register. If you like this video, I'm going to ask you to like it. If you know someone who will benefit from this video, I'm going to ask you to share it. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below or message me, DM me, email me at lr@chameleonresumes.com. I do my best to read and reply to every email, DM, and comment. And I think that's about it. Oh, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to either my YouTube channel or hit the double bell on the LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile, so you can make sure that you see all my posts and see all my videos as they come up. So look forward to seeing you at the Executive Career Chat and see you next week for the video. Take care.